Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. I really don't know what milk my good friend wants to drink, but let me say it's so sad to say that those who are drinking milk, animal milk, are animal. And I would like to record my disappointment in the statement made by honourable members. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I rise in support of the 2016 national budget as delivered by the Honourable Minister of Finance. I congratulate the Honourable Minister for Finance and his team for designing a forward-looking budget with the theme of the future, the strong Fiji, a fair Fiji, a healthy Fiji, while looking after the overall economic health of this nation to meet the needs of fellow Fijians. If anything, Mr. Deputy Speaker, we all know the Honourable Minister is known for his work. Deputy Speaker, this budget is again a result of consultation with both the private and public sectors. So this is again an expensive budget that creates opportunities for Fijians to make their own choice for their own good. The continued investment in education, health, the civil service reform programs, and the overall VAT reduction, amongst others, are commendable, as they are designed to meet Fijians where they are and uplift their overall well-being. Before the announcement of budget, Mr. Deputy Speaker, our good friends from that side were assuming that the VAT will be increased to 20%. But that has not happened. I just want to put it on record. A strong Fiji, a fair Fiji, a healthy Fiji, the guiding principle of the 2016 budget was embedded in the budget address by the Honourable Minister of Finance and Attorney General, and in the accompanying physical documents. Mr. Deputy Speaker, as Minister for the diverse portfolio of ministries and departments, it is my pleasure to make a few remarks in general about the theme of the 2016 budget and its implication on my ministerial department. Mr. Deputy Speaker, let me remind this Honourable House of the relationship between achievements and promises by the words of the Democrat US Attorney General, who said in 1981, and I quote, "The measure of your quality as a public person, as a citizen, is the gap between what you do and what you say," unquote. And Mr. Deputy Speaker, that applies in even more stringent terms to a government. And the Fiji Affairs government has measured up well, and I must add, has exceeded in the achievements to date. And it firmly reiterates the bold statement inherent in the 2016 budget that your government believes in you. Mr. Deputy Speaker, this is an important reminder to all of us that the budget is for all Fijians, on the principle that a healthy economy and one based on merit will lead to a fairer and a prosperous nation. Visionary in that, as pointed out in his budget address, is that the actions of today will provide a fruitful fiscal windfall for all stakeholders, from ordinary citizens to investors, going by the budget and estimates around. Mr. Deputy Speaker, it is an expression of confidence in our fiscal policies that we believe in all Fijians and that together we will punch well above our weight. A point that the Honourable Prime Minister and Honourable Minister of Finance have made at various points over the past few years, and this was highlighted in the 2016 budget address. Mr. Deputy Speaker, may I at this juncture acknowledge the increase in our overall local government budget. Mr. Deputy Speaker, further to the speech by my Assistant Minister, where she highlighted the current and planned activities of the Departments of Housing and also Environment, let me turn specifically to the Department of Town and Country Planning, Department of Local Government, and National Fire Authority. Local Government. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the Department of Local Government is tasked to improve local governance. I am glad to inform this House that the makeover of the Albert Park is currently on track, and the 7 million allocated for the 2016 will see its timely completion. After completion, we will see a national park that will be a monument to Fiji's heritage, one that will add to what is developing around this parliamentary complex into an iconic area of addresses that celebrates our past and showcase our visionary future. Mr. Deputy Speaker, to cater for the heavily populated area in Nasinu, 500,000 has been allocated towards a sports stadium development in Bala. This is a major redress for an area neglected by the past government and complements the recent development of a multi-purpose court in the area. The ministry has also partnered the project with the Lautoka City Council with an allocated 2.8 million to provide international standard facilities at the hub of the West. I have been assured by Mr. Lawrence Tikaram of Coca-Cola that once completed, they will move the Coca-Cola games in Lautoka as well. But I also likewise owning that if he's not going to host Coca-Cola games in Lautoka, then we will organize Pepsi games. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I welcome the 4 million allocated under the Challenge Fund for municipal councils that is targeted to continue support programs assisting the small and medium municipal councils and their local communities in various identified areas. This has become a valuable investment in our councils and communities and brings immediate benefits in the facilities, service, and amenities. Town and country planning. Mr. Deputy Speaker, in 2007, Fiji became an urban economy, having 51% of its population residing in the urban area that is projected to increase to 60% by 2030. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the Ministry's plan to face these challenges is by seeking ways to extend boundaries of the urban areas, increasing development along major transportation routes, revising Greater Suva Urban Growth Management Plan with Water Authority of Fiji and Fiji Roads Authority, allowing for a high-rise development, establishing growth centers in peri-urban areas, upgrading works currently underway by Water Authority of Fiji for both water and wastewater in readiness for the increase. And in order to align our services with this projected increase in urban population, investment in e-service technology will be implemented to provide better services and enhance attractive investment environment for our and local investors. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the new town development concept is a smart form of urban planning design to attract populations away from cities and economic activities in rural areas, control the uncoordinated in the urban area. The budget of the 1.9 million in 2016 will ensure that the ministry carries out land subdivision in Nambawalu and scheme planning and engineering design for Keasi and Senganga for this very purpose. Mr. Deputy Speaker, urban planning aside, the key component of the new town development in Fiji is the collaboration and partnership between government and Itoki landowners. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the beauty of this approach in Nambawalu, which we see as our pilot project, has triggered demand for land development and seen the welcome entry for the landowners into this arena. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the Town Planning Act of 1946 and Subdivision of Land Act of 1937 currently forms the legal framework governing land and building development. Inclusive public consultations, which I launched last week, are projected to be completed by early March 2016. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the proposed changes are to reduce planning approval process timelines, improve coordination with agencies, introduction of electronic services, and strengthening enforcement mechanism and establishment of a planning tribunal. Mr. Deputy Speaker, my ministry in consultation with the Ministry of Health is proposing to shift the town planning responsibilities from the Rural Local Authority to the ministry, which is the coordinating planning approval agency. Mr. Deputy Speaker, on the note of brighter future, I am pleased to report to the House that the process for the proposed declaration of Navua as a town is nearing completion. I am awaiting the end of the objection period before a final decision on the declaration of Navua as a town is made. The ADB, in its report, forecasted Nandi as the regional hub of Fiji, and towards this end, my ministry has reacted to the initiative by the Town Council to declare Nandi a city. I am pleased to report that the process towards this has started, and we look forward to Fiji's third city in the near future. Mr. Deputy Speaker, to complement the words of my Assistant Minister on Housing, I would like to inform this Honourable House that Cabinet has endorsed for relevant ministers under whose portfolios housing is currently found in some form or another to come together collectively to identify these areas. And this will provide information and data to provide optimum services and products under the National Housing Policy. National Fire Authority. Mr. Deputy Speaker, you may have noticed that there have been a lot of fire cases recently. And the increase in allocation for the National Fire Authority is noted and welcome. A major drive for the spending of the increased budget will be on improving services by the National Fire Authority. The National Fire Authority will reinforce their plans to respond to fire cases faster and carry out more fire prevention awareness. We are also in close consultation with the Water Authority of Fiji to ensure that there is enough water pressure wherever the fire hydrants are located. Mr. Deputy Speaker, please allow me to turn to the Ministry of Infrastructure and Transport. I will speak on the budgetary provision affecting three main sectors, namely transport, water, and energy. My Assistant Minister will speak on maritime transport and on the Met services. In the interest of time, I will concentrate on general areas, and under the Land Transport Authority, a major spending of the increased budget will be on improving services by the LTA. It has been a major concern among the public and among government, and we are taking a serious view of lack of or lapses in service delivery. This service delivery improvements will be achieved through state-of-the-art technology spends and increased manpower. In light of this, I welcome the increased allocation for LTA. Already some reforms have been noted within the LTA, such as fully automated motor vehicle inspection system, road safety initiatives, quality assurance maintenance system, certification for bus companies, implementation of red light and speed cameras. Mr. Deputy Speaker, moving on roads. Let me correct the incorrect figures given by the honourable opposition members. In particular, the comments that Fiji Roads Authority has only incurred around 200 million of expenditure until the end of third quarter could not be further from the truth. The members of the opposition would be well advised to educate themselves as to the workings of government's financial system and those of the statutory corporate entities if they aspire to hold the reins of power. I can inform this House that the true figure of the work completed until the end of third quarter is in fact in excess of 400 million. Furthermore, contrary to statements that would indicate a rush to complete works before the end of the year, I can confirm that Fiji Roads Authority and their suppliers are going about their work and currently estimate achievements of the intended program at over 90%. Over 600 million of works completed. The members of the opposition who talk about working together should consider their words when they choose to make comment about the Auditor General's report on FRA from 2014. The audit report has only very minor qualification, and that was a recognition by the Fiji Roads Authority itself that the information inherited from the different agencies that previously managed the roads of the nation was incomplete and inaccurate. The Fiji Roads Authority was in fact set up to rectify these variances of the past and has proceeded to do so. Throughout 2013, this is the problem. You can't digest the success what we are doing. And let me say this. I wanted to be very quiet, but now you have opened it. You know, I'm not surprised at all the contribution made by opposition all these days. Because what else they have to say? Yeah. The Fiji Roads Authority was in fact set up to rectify these variances of the past and has proceeded to do so. Throughout 2013 and 2014, Fiji Roads Authority has gradually improved its knowledge of the assets, and in 2015 is undertaking a re-evaluation by independent qualified valuers. Mr. Deputy Speaker, four-way lanes would soon ensure that people reach to work on time in the morning and reach home on time in the afternoon. And the same goes for the school children. It's so sad. It's happening all around the country. But some people tend to pretend and try to be blind. Even blind people can see what's happening in this country. Traffic congestion not only affects Suva, but other main urban centers around the country. And this expansion of road lanes is sure to ease the pressure on all drivers and also on the pedestrian. Better roads network means people can get out of town and cities and have access to affordable land to build their homes. Road networks means easier access to markets. The Fiji Roads Authority is provided with the capital grant of 635.7 million in 2016. The FRA board is committed to streamlining, cost saving, and ensuring that each dollar from this allocation maximizes returns on better road infrastructure. A major reform package for the Fiji Roads Authority will be implemented so that we have better traction in its operation in building roads towards a better Fiji. Mr. Deputy Speaker, water is essential to our livelihood, and I note and welcome the increased allocation to the Water Authority of Fiji. Aging infrastructure and increasing demands on water will mean that Water Authority of Fiji will have to work smarter to ensure that this essential service is maintained. The process will not come into effect overnight, but I have faith that it will be speedy. Just as we took water to disadvantaged and remote communities, I had the opportunity to accompany Honorable Prime Minister in commissioning of few pipe water projects. To these communities, Mr. Deputy Speaker, the smiles on their face told their own story of their satisfaction with government and its policy on taking water to the people. On a related note, I commend the announcement of the removal of the partial deposit of 10% by the communities. I ask Mr. Deputy Speaker, is this not supporting the poor of this country? Mr. Deputy Speaker, as you may have noticed, I am taking pains to not repeat the allocation and figures already given in the budget address, but to move on priority areas and utilization projects for this allocation, and in that vein, I continue my address on the final area, and that is energy. And once again, welcome the increased allocation. A major focus will be reusable energy. This will include harvesting wind, solar, and sewage for the energy. Mr. Deputy Speaker, we have identified 3 locations, namely Namboron Field, Unato Tamin Lotoka, and the Kunaya Sewage Treatment Plant. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I am happy to inform that next year, 500 households will have solar power installed and 1,726 homes will be connected to FEA's grid under the Rural Electrification Project. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I ask the opposition, is this not the assistance to the poor? Similar to the initiatives on removing the 10% on the water, the removal of the same provisions for electricity is a welcome initiative. Mr. Deputy Speaker, this may seem like a small measure, but it translates into immense measure to improve the quality of life among our disadvantaged and remote communities, as well as the urban and peri-urban poor. To conclude, Mr. Deputy Speaker, this budget will benefit all Fijians, including the opposition members. May God bless you all.